Dude, honestly, if Eisen was better than Marvel or DC, I would be like, I'd be kind of resentful, I guess, because it's Eric July and I don't like him, the messages he's putting out there and shit. But I would be happy for the fans of Eisen that wanted a good comic book. I would never
Yeah.
like be like, oh, fuck you, or whatever. Like, if it was just, but it's not.
Yeah, it'd be one of those things where it's like, man, I hate his rhetoric, but you know what? He's a pretty fucking good writer. He nailed this one. Now, this is an alternate reality where that didn't happen because he's not a good writer. He might do better if he focuses ISOM instead of like having like superpowers. He maybe has like warehouse coordinating abilities, and that's all he does in each issue. Something Eric's passionate about and can write thoroughly about.
Well, I guess since we're kind of getting into it, we might as well explain what the stream title is about and what this is going on here. Because I just figured everybody would have heard of this by now, but maybe not.
I just heard of it while I was at work.
So today, Rippa's End was announced. The Rippaverse announced Rippa's End. It's very surprising thing to drop. Like, why would you announce your end like that? But he did. And so I put together this image here just to kind of like give us a nice overview of like, this is where he started. Just a poor black boy plucked out of the ghetto by Glenn Beck and groomed into a libertarian super soldier.
Listen, Glenn Beck is famously not racist. He told me.
Yeah, he said, well, I have a black son, he said.
Yeah.
And and then now he ironically, there's like a little bit of I guess visual symmetry to it, a little bit of inversion where now he's riding off into the sunset on horseman. And it's salute. No, yeah. No, so okay, so he I couldn't believe this shit. DJ dropped this on us earlier. He was like, "Have you guys?" He announced something called Rippa's End, or sorry, Rippa's. I can't even. Now I'm just gonna say Rippa's End all the time.
Yeah.
Rippa's
No,
End.
it's spelled Rippa's End, so
yeah,
it seems right.
Here, I'll pull up the actual image that I used for that. So this is it.
Here's the website.
Oh, okay. So here's introducing Rippa's End.
That's better.
Like, how do you not
Rippa's End?
How do you not see that, man? How do you not fucking see it? But what is it? What is Rippa's End? And yeah, you got the website up, so
yeah. No, this is I'm not even so it seemed like initially it would be a thing where it's like, hey, we have like if you have a comic book guide. Oh,
hold on, hold the fucking phone. Hold up.
Boop. Boom. Nice.
What's up, man?
What's up?
How's it going?
I finally made it to one of these shindigs recently.
We hit 97 views. He's like, all right, they got enough people watching now to warrant my presence. I'll show up. What's up?
Hold on.
No, we were just talking about the old Rippa's End.
Rippa's End? We're talking about Rippa's End? Is that what we're talking about?
It's very surprising that I don't know if you saw this image that I made for it, but this one, Rippa's Beginnings and Rippa's End.
Oh yeah, that's funny. That's pretty funny. This whole thing is baffling to me. I don't know how far we're into it, but it's
I haven't read that much into it, but I pulled up the website and I'm almost kind of confused because it sounded like a thing where maybe like almost like an icon thing or even an image thing where it's like you can submit your ideas and it'll be creator owned.
It's very very confusing on what it actually is. When you go to the site to try to fill it out,
Yeah, no, I thought it might be fine to fill out something.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, we should watch the announcement video because there's some kind of revealing stuff in that in what he says. Yeah. What was your experience? Because you're the one that kind of came across it, I guess, and like what did you think, DJ?
I mean, it's just funny to me because we, for the longest time, were wondering why he'd been talking about his warehouse and how much space he has and all these shots of his warehouse. And he seems to be so wrapped up in his warehouse. And I think the theory is that he had always intended to be a distribution service. That the idea was to put out comics quickly and get them shipped on time to show everyone that he has the capability of doing it. and that the quality of the comics never mattered. And I mean, if that's again speculation, but if it's true, it all makes sense. Like it all adds up if that's the case. But everything with Rippa in it, it's just I understand branding, but fuck, Rippa's End. It just
Rippa's End.
Yeah,
I don't know how nobody noticed that or like just I blows my mind. So I'm gonna pull up the video here in a second, and we can just kind of hear it from the horseman's mouth.
From the horseman's mouth. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, we can look at, but there's also when we get to it, there's an FAQ thing that really confuses me. But we'll get to it after the video. I think it'll make more sense after the video because I've seen the video.
All right, so let me know if I think the audio should be good to go. Here we go. All right.
I'm Eric July, the founder and owner of the Rippaverse. When we launched our comic book company in 2022, I took the risk of my life, but
it's not fucking paying off, people. It is not.
Yeah.
I tell you, it is.
I've made so much money on these comic books, and yet somehow I'm still in the red. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'd heard some stuff about like financial situation in between. When was it? No, it was after the second campaign, right before the third campaign launched. There was you know, I'd heard some information from somebody that I have no reason to believe that he would just say these specific things for any bullshit reason. That basically like all the money they made on the first campaign, you know, the win was in his sales basically, and I don't blame him. I would be really high on my shit too after that. You know, after I made probably a couple $1 million, and then like the Blaze Media injected, you know, who knows how much into it as well. And then that basically he went and he did the warehouse, he got like some vans or some shit, and he hired a bunch of staff and everything. And then like basically going into the second campaign, he was basically at zero as far as like any profit that he made after taxes and everything else, and like he was starting off at zero again. He was basically thinking that he was going to keep making that amount almost every time.
Yeah, so he was hoping ISOM 2 would sell like ISOM 1, which
now
is not how sales work.
Something that I actually saw a clip of EVS talking about this said that Eric's mistake at the beginning of this, and I didn't think about this, but it actually makes sense. His mistake at the beginning of this is he thought that the first campaign was the floor, but it was actually the ceiling.
No,
it was actually the ceiling, meaning that he thought it was going to go up from there. He didn't realize that was like hype money.
Has he done no research into anything like this?
I don't know. I have no idea, but like I think it's very obvious that the idea that first campaign was the beginning of what it was going to be. I don't think anyone, detractor or not, believed that he would ever do substantially more than that first campaign. I can't believe that.
Well, I mean, I've brought up before. I'll go ahead and bring it up again. Like, if you want to do better than the first one, what you have to do is have a really good product with a lot of buzz on it. A lot of people going, "Wow, this is really good. This is really awesome." Instead, you had a lot of people going either meh or this is shit. That's not the buzz you need.
He also had a lot of people that were like saying it was the best thing ever. It was going to destroy, but it was all people that were like, you know, had been fans of his and were like financially and emotionally invested in the success of the Rippaverse. Yeah. So they were going to say that no matter what. But yeah, and I think that's the kind of stuff that kind of he didn't distinguish that maybe, and he just saw all that fucking bullshit praise from people that would have praised him if he took a crap on a.
He had a bunch of yes men around him, a bunch of yes men just telling him what he wanted to hear, and that's where we're at now.
It's unfortunate for him and not for really anybody else. I mean, I guess no, I'm not going to feel bad for his employees either. I'm really not.
Most of them know what they're getting into. I don't think a lot of them are oblivious to it. So,
well, I guess this is going to be the thing that turns it all around, though.
Hated risk. We've had 3 campaigns over $1 million, and that's due to us doing tons of research. A lot of that research had to do with analyzing the industry standards from content to distribution.
This is my favorite part of the video, what he says right now.
Dude, talk about warehouses, dude.
We couldn't make sense of a lot of it.
Fucking kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me?
So he's admitting that they didn't know how to do it, so they just made shit up. Basically, this is him coming up with their own.
Look, these pros have been doing it for decades. They've got this whole system in place and everything, and and blah blah blah. But like, people make money, but like, we decided I don't understand it.
So we want you to bring your product to us.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. And the thing is that we'll get into a little bit later, like why this is a problem, and who needs to be on the lookout for becoming a mark with this shit. But yeah, it's just, he basically just said,
I don't understand it.
All right.
When we get into it, some stuff in this FAQ has me completely confused based on this video, but we'll get into it.
We did things differently. We handled everything ourselves as a new company, from the website functionality to the fulfillment. All of it was in-house, and we've learned a lot along the way. We know what works and we know what doesn't, and we are not afraid of change and improvement. If you've kept up with my videos, you know that many people ask me if we'll ever publish non-Rippaverse things.
Evie Variety would have asked this question several months. I was wondering if the answer changed. Are you interested in bringing on outside series to the Rippaverse?
I've always said that I believe our contribution would be more so in helping fulfill, because it's the most pressing issue. And now that we have everything down,
I just imagine him waking up the day that they were going to shoot those that B-roll for the warehouse, and he's just like, fucking, he's got a pep in his step. He's like, I can't wait to shoot this warehouse B-roll today.
Yeah,
I can't wait to be the next Amazon. Just,
man, that's a big fucking shift. Like, when you really think about it, like, from what this started out as, and I guess there is kind of like some potential built into the original thing to where you can like pivot if you need to, and if he's able to do that, then I guess that would make him a halfway, like barely lucky businessman, I guess. But up until now, he's shown nothing but bad judgment, man. Bad fucking judgment.
Proud to announce our next venture called RIPPAS END, a full-scale hosting and fulfillment service under the Rippaverse publishing brand. A glaring hole in the independent comics market is with fulfillment and delivery of product. New form.
So about that, let me just pull something up real quick. I didn't notice he said that the first time, but I have a document from, I talked about it on my stream, I believe, or maybe it was Shillcast, I'm not sure. But there was recently an announcement by ICV2 that, I guess there might be some competition. I don't know. Let's see. It is. Crap. 1 second. Well, we'll just keep watching and I'll pull it up in a minute.
Forms of funding, such as crowdfunding, have lowered the barrier for entry, and that's great. The downside is that you have a lot of people that don't necessarily understand the business, overpromising and realizing very quickly that they're in over their heads, and that's where RIPPAS END comes in.
Is he insult? Is this kind of shade on Ethan right there?
I think it's a shade on pretty much all of Comicsgate, to be quite honest, because they have a lot of problems with getting products out. I mean, and the thing is that there's a weird mixture of that community of like some really good books that actually are quality comics, and a bunch of people that are just sort of riding along, trying to sell their comics with them. But all of them have the same issue. I don't think any of them are very efficient at getting books out.
It is almost kind of like, because I have actually, I unironically have given them props before for the fact that they have gotten their books out more or less in the window that they say they're going to.
Yeah.
And so I guess it kind of does look like they looked back and said, all right, what have we done right? We've done some shit wrong. I don't know. I doubt they actually admitted that, but they like, what did we really do right? Well, we got things shipped out in time, basically.
I mean, look, ultimately I'm going to explain why this whole thing is a scam at the end of this, because it really is a scam.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll just keep watching here.
There are publishers and distributors, but what we're trying to do is far different. We understand the comic book industry and can handle any volume. Our goal is to assist the independent scene and those creatives that want to remain largely independent. And
understand the comic book industry, huh? I don't know about that. Here's this. So, yeah, just exactly what he's talking about doing, except these people actually do know the comic book industry. They do have a network. They've got relationships established and so on and so forth. So, like, I wonder who will be better at it.
Huh.
I wonder.
But Rippaverse has 3 comic books.
They have 3 comic books. Yeah, that's true.
directly to their customers. RIPPAS END is not a crowdfunding platform that's open to the public. Look at it more like a network that certain clients will have access to. We fill out our application online. We make sure that this is something that makes sense for you. And then we give you a unique quote with pricing that's tailored to you and your needs. Each client will be different, which is why we'll work with select people or companies. There are two different primary types.
It feels like there's in that couple of sentences right there is where it feels like the grift is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, because the thing is, he mentioned earlier, this is just a little preview to my thoughts on this. I don't know if he mentioned earlier in this video, but he's mentioned online that he wants to help with like people that do direct to consumer sales. If he is helping in the creation of these comics, it's not direct to consumer. He's playing a middleman in distribution with this, because a direct to consumer would mean that he has no hand. He doesn't do anything with his product except store it and ship it out. But that's not what this is. This is a full service where you contact him about like how to make this happen. And secondly, he mentioned companies. Companies like that will use his service would not be doing direct to consumer either. So that's not what it is. But he keeps saying that. So
types of clients that RIPPAS END is going to be perfect for. Number one, you're a great creative. Perhaps you built a decent following, but the business and fulfillment side is difficult to understand, or it bores you and you don't want to deal with it. You just want to create. RIPPAS END can take care of that entire project. We'll give you your own unique URL on our site, and you can even have the campaign format where your customers can purchase. We'll keep you up to date with detailed reports and all, and the clients that want us to take care of everything will get access to our internal team, which can assist you with other things, such as pricing your items and ensuring that you get the largest return. You're also going to be able to utilize our vendors and suppliers. So if you need help getting a book printed, or you want
pause there quickly.
You can take
Glass House Publishing. That's the thing, is this is also a promo for them, because he says you can work with our vendors and suppliers and all that. So, I mean, if we're talking about from a creative aspect, he could be sending people to this Brazilian company to make comic books. So we'll end up with a bunch of 3D asset comic books being made by RIPPAS END.
He wants to flood the indie market with fucking ISOM level 3D asset bullshit.
Yeah.
But you can get so many variant covers made with 3D assets.
As long as you're willing to pay him. This means that the quality of the product is going to be in question, because if say, for example, I were someone that wanted to make a comic book and I had absolutely no idea how to do it, as long as I'm willing to throw money at Eric July, he will make all the things work so that I can make that comic, which means that literally I could do the bare minimum and call myself a comic book creator at this point.
As long as you got money, basically, you can. He's just providing the fucking facilitating your ability to. That's fucking really, really fucking soulless, man. And just obviously, even if it wasn't a grift, which it pretty much certainly is, it's just a soulless way to fucking make comic books.
Take care of that for you. You're going to be able to take advantage of some Rippaverse pricing, which is going to be far cheaper than if you did it yourself, especially with shipping. And of course, once your items are ready, we'll receive them at one of our warehouse locations, store, pre-package, and then ship to our customers. And that means we'll be handling the customer service aspect of it for you too. The other main type of client would be someone that just wants to use RIPPAS END to host their store and fulfill their items. We can do that too. Of course, there will be those hybrid clients, as everybody needs something different. And that's the point. Our main requirement is that we'll only pick up projects where the company or individual.
I mean, even if this was a legit thing, he says way too much bullshit in his announcement for stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, he feels like this is all necessary, I guess, to say. And it's like, he's just getting into the minutia of things, and it's doing is creating more questions for people.
Yeah, it's not even 100% clear what he's offering. It's like, are you offering to promote it? Are you offering to host it?
No, he's not. No. There's no promotion at all. That's the other thing. I wrote this down over here. So he won't be promoting anything, meaning that whatever product you ship to his warehouse, he's literally just going to store it and ship it. That's it. You will not get a shout out from Eric July, so you won't have access to his 500,000 bot subscribers on YouTube. You won't have access to his social media, none of that. Basically, you have to be someone with a large enough following that you can utilize his service to store and ship out your stuff. So we're not going to see small indie creators using this. He wants companies like, I don't know, maybe The Blaze. Maybe The Blaze wants to get in the comic book business. Maybe Ben Shapiro wants to get in the comic book business. Maybe one of those guys wants to make a comic. Maybe Yellow Flash 2 will be using this since he's late on his fucking comic book. Maybe FNT people will start. Maybe Az will have a comic book. The issue is it's going to be people that have money to burn, because that is why they would go to him. This is not made for the low level guys. It's not at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically the guys that do YouTube and whatnot. You know, the ones that are recognizing the Chudpocalypse is real, and that they're losing. You know, the writing's on the wall. They're going to need a grift to transition to, and I think that's probably what he's facilitating. Is yeah. All right. Well,
creative has their stuff together. They need to be well beyond the proof of concept phase. Being a part of the RIPPAS END network is going to benefit a lot of clients, all of the clients actually, because at minimum, the purchaser's going to understand that they are going to get the products that they paid for, and it will be within a reasonable time frame. This is why RIPPAS END won't be for everybody. Yeah. We want the independent and alternative scenes to thrive, so we're not here to hold our clients hostage. This is why, even though in the literal sense, we'd be publishing other people's work, I don't think calling RIPPAS END a publisher is entirely accurate. We want to teach you the ropes and help you grow. And maybe at some point in the future, you'll no longer even need RIPPAS END. That's okay. Let your wings fly.
Oh, the snake oil is being sold there.
Yes. A viable network of creatives and projects where customers don't feel like they're playing the lottery if they support a campaign.
Again, another dig at that's the third time he's gone after Comicsgate in this video.
What did he say this time?
He said that it's not like playing the lottery. People will know they're going to get their products. Like it's another dig at Comicsgate. Look, the internal fighting is hilarious, but it's funny to me that he is fully committed now to being anti-Comicsgate. Like this is a full commitment to that at this point.
Everybody becomes the enemy of this motherfucker. Like you can't run afoul of him, or he will. You know, you're just now the nemesis, and he's got a long list of nemesis now. Yeah, as somebody just said in chat,
everybody's on it except like Az at this point.
It's like, oh, he's the big bad Cindy daddy now.
Okay, you the big bad booty daddy.
Well, 21 seconds. Maybe he brings it around and he's like convinces me in that time. We'll see.
Things off of your hands, so you have the time to go be great. So if you're an independent creative and RIPPAS END is something that interests you, head over to rippasend.com for more detailed information. We already have a handful of clients and we're looking to add more to the list. See you
Yellow
soon.
Flash is 1,000% one of those people. 1,000% one of those people that are a handful of clients.
Yeah, and I'm betting maybe Chuck Dixon too.
Maybe Mike Barron. I feel like anybody that's got some sort of connection to Eric July is probably one of his clients.
Yeah.
With RIPPAS END. Anybody have any thoughts on this?
Dude,
it comes like it's so vague it has to be a scam. So like okay, so rippasend.com is a website that he just said go to. It's 3 goddamn pages. You got this about us where what general consulting, fulfillment, campaign. Okay, like, okay, so it has all this stuff here. The FAQ is where it gets really confusing. Can I pitch something? First does not accept pitches. What's that?
Okay. Do RIPPAS END clients own their material? Sorry.
The vast majority of RIPPAS END clients are owners of trademark and copyright of their work. It's generally known as creator owned. So I guess it's supposed to be like Icon, but like a lot like.
Well, I mean, basically, if I had like Eric Verse Comics,
yeah,
I could pay for them to store and ship them, and they would have nothing to do with the production of my comics. However,
yeah,
sorry.
It's like Pink Bunny says here. It's like the business end of what Image Comics does, except it not the creative end at all. Not the promotion, not the shepherding of talent or anything like that. Just like straight up the fucking nuts and bolts version of it.
Anybody that wants to come in and pay can do it. The thing is, though, he made it clear in this that the first part of this little page that you're looking at, the consulting section, right? That we were looking at before, the first page here, it says general consulting. That's a connection service for the Brazilian people, the people in Brazil that do the comics. Pretty sure, 100%. If I did that on it. So if I were to come to him and say, hey, because he said all you have to have is proof of concept, meaning that you just have to have an idea that you're willing to do and put into a comic book. So if I went to him, I could probably end up getting like, Joe Bennett or any of these other guys that work for Glass House to make my comic. And I'm sure that would be a negotiation separate from all of this, most likely. But he would make those connections. He would probably put that together for a fee, obviously. But there's a few things here. Number one, as I wrote this down, is what this tells me, because less than a month ago, he said he did not want to do anything like this. This was not something that he was thinking about. He made a video where he talked about that. So, but now he's doing it. Now he's all in on this. What this tells me is he cannot make enough product to sustain his business. There's not enough Rippaverse product to sustain the business that he is trying to build. Because you can't, and I said this before, 6 comic books a year is not enough to keep your brand in business. Matter of fact, he had to release an art book as part of his release plan this year with the Joe Bennett art book because there's not enough comics. So the art book came out.
I mean, Marvel DC, like that would be a high bar to hold him to, but that's like 10 comic books a week.
Well, that's what I mean. There's just not enough.
Yeah,
he has overextended what he can do, because otherwise he wouldn't do this. If you've got a growing business with Rippaverse and you've got all that warehouse space, you would assume you'd fill it up with your own merch, with your own products. But this comes out right after he did a massive sale of Rippaverse merch. Last week, everything was down like 30, 40, 50%. He was freeing up space because of this RIPPAS END thing. These people are going to rush through to use him for distribution.
So I have some, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, that's what it's telling me, is that he just doesn't have enough product to sustain.
I'm deferring to Dean Page, creator of Return of Jake Sunrise and Cosmo Natalia, who he knows a bit about making and selling comics and stuff, distributing on his own, and he knows a bit about comics anyways, just because he's an old comics head. So he's saying right here, I'm just basically going to read verbatim here. Hopefully he doesn't mind that. He's going to wind up charging upstart creators more than they make off of their comics. The first few clients he'll promote the hell out of, but the cost of promotion won't make sense long term. Pretty unscrupulous. He's mad about thinking about how many people are going to feel screwed over by him when they thought he was going to help them with their hopes and dreams. So services like this aren't necessary unless you're already selling thousands of copies. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true, because like people do, like the reason that comic skaters don't get their books out is not because they can't handle the fucking the distribution, the flow, right? Like it's not impossible to do. Like unless you're selling as many as like, I don't know, several 100,000 copies or something, you're not going to have the kind of, you can do it. You and a few people can get together, and over the course of a few weeks, you can get that shit done. It takes work for sure, but like, yeah, this is not necessary. So, but basically what his concern is, and this is a valid concern, is that people are going to use the service thinking that this will, be my easy ticket to get these comics out or whatever. And they're going to sell like 100 copies of a comic or something.
Right.
And, he needs customers like that to make the margins make sense for him. Is what his take is. And
the other thing is, this brings into question, would he turn down a client? Like, say, for example, I wanted to go to him to do a distribution for like a queer comic book. Would he say no to that? Like if I showed up and I said, hey, I'm a person that I'm selling 10,000 copies of this comic. I have 10,000 people guaranteed to buy this comic. I just need you to store it and ship it and do part of RIPPAS END. Would he say no to that? because the comic book is a gay comic, would be about queer characters or something? Would he say no? Where would he draw his line on that kind of stuff? It just makes me wonder how far it would go. Is this just going to be for pretty much anti-woke comics? Because a lot of people I've seen commenting on this have said that they support the idea of it being like a woke-free distribution company, but that's not guaranteed. Eric, look, in his defense, he never said in that video anything about being like a woke-free distribution company, which tells me that if I approached him to distribute my comic book, it could be about anything.
Hey,
right?
we're gonna get to you next, man. Chill out, calm down. We're getting to you and your Disney trip.
Ethan.
No, it's like I said, it's 3 pages on here. There's like nothing to it, and then here's the contact us, and it's like a basic form.
It's a Google Doc hidden inside of a page, basically.
Yeah, it's this is his big new company.
What about leftover product? What about leftover product? What if I do like Eric has done, and I order 5,000 comic books, and I pay him to store and ship them? What happens if I only sell 1,000, and I got 4,000 of them left in his warehouse? What happens then? Do I have to pay him each month to keep those things in the warehouse? Do I have to pay him to ship them to me because I shipped them to him first? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What do I do with that leftover product? I'm sure that if you went to him with these questions, he'd probably give you an answer, but it's not going to be for free. That's for sure.
Ethan, we don't do that on this show, man. We like to arrange things ahead of time because we have plans. We have production meetings about what we're going to talk about, things like that. So we don't just bring people on who, especially people who are kind of known for derailing shows, and that's kind of like their whole thing. So if you want to arrange something, we can talk about getting you on sometime, man, in the future. See what happens. But
yeah, this is sus, to say the least.
Yeah, a little bit.
This essentially sounds like send us money and we'll, I don't know, have a meeting with you if you send us enough
Ethan
money.
I think he's on my chat. I can't look at the channels.
I think he is. Yeah, he must be. Yeah.
Why do you have him blocked?
Yeah, I blocked him a long time ago. Yeah.
I don't have blocked. He might be on mine. I'm not sure.
Mine's the Wild West.
I mean, he had blocked me on Twitter, and so whenever he showed up on my fucking YouTube, I'm like, well, fair is fair. Then of course, months later, whenever he decided he wanted to unblock me and talk shit, he did that because that's just how he rolls.
That is EVS of Cyberfrog fame, Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah.
What about the Mac Club discounts? Do they apply to RIPPAS END? Does that apply? Because it's coming out of his warehouse. So
I'm willing to bet he wants to keep that separate.
Oh, I don't know. So what exactly are the Mac Club people getting if he's only making 3 comics a year then?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm scratching through my notes here. Made a bunch of notes while we were chatting. It's pretty much so I think Yellow Flash 2 is going to be the first person. He's already late on a bunch of shit. He's not paying his artist correctly. Big surprise. So I think Yellow Flash will probably end up being one of his guys. I would not be surprised if Az ends up making some comic book called the Silverback, because they've been doing this ripping Silverback.
Christ, that'll be fucking stupid.
Oh my God.
mean, does that sound crazy to you? I mean, that he's had the animation of it. The character already exists. He could do a Silverback comic book. So I'd be surprised if that's the case. I wouldn't be surprised if Nerdrotic.
Yeah, I mean, Yellow Flash has been allegedly working on a comic, right? I don't know what the state of it is, but
so the artist for Yellow Flash, I don't remember his name.
Had a bunch of problems, right? And
yeah, so during the holidays, he lost, I think his house got flooded or something. I don't know. This is all just, I'm kind of going, some people in the chat may know, but he had a catastrophe in his house. He couldn't do Christmas for his kids or whatever. So a lot of the guys in Comicsgate, as far as I know, came together to sort of help this guy be able to provide for his family. But Yellow Flash, who is the person that is making the comic with him, didn't, as far as I know, didn't do anything to help him. He didn't send him any money. This guy had been drawing art for Yellow Flash for a while. And Yellow Flash was like, oh, he's part owner, so I don't have to send him an advance payment or anything like that. Literally, this guy's house was fucking destroyed. He was living in a tent, like a one of those like I guess tent city things in his backyard through the holidays at Christmas time.
That's rough. Fuck.
Yeah, it's fucking awful.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what happened. And so I do believe that is probably he's probably going to be a customer through this RIPPAS END thing. So,
I mean, there's lots of these guys that have comic books are trying to get out there. So it wouldn't surprise me if a few, like, and he might even publish the few of the high profile ones. Like he already brought up Yellow Flash.
Oh, but Bobby said he doesn't want to be a publishing company. Remember, he said not a publishing company.
True.
So that's reserved for Horseman. Horseman is reserved for the publishing.
So is this? Let me ask this: is this part of this like to kind of deflect from the fact that they're not going to be putting Yaira out anytime soon, right?
I think they're going to announce Yaira's campaign this week, but I don't think it's going to start right away.
Will it be a campaign, or will Yaira be the one to launch?
I don't know. The Saska sisters are out there like doing their shit, like promoting it, saying it's like Eric posted something like.
See, when you said they're doing their shit, I just imagined them just like vomiting on each other or something.
Maybe. No, Eric was like, "Oh, I walked outside today, and it was supposed to be 70 degrees, but it felt like 30. That means the Yaira winter's around the corner." So I do think Yaira is going to get announced, but I don't think that whatever way they're going to release it, I don't think it's happening like very soon. I think it's going to be a while before that happens. I don't know. I truly believe that this is one of those situations where best of luck to people that do this service, because I can tell you right now, you have to be a massively large creator to get any sort of return on investment.